So what can you talk about your process for capturing photos? How do you capture those individual moments?
Yeah, I think what makes my work interesting and different from a lot of other photographers because I'm so closely to the actual problem that I'm documenting. Growing up in Baltimore, I'm Black. I grew up in this city. I'm from West Baltimore, and I've been subjected to police brutality. I've been through a lot. So understanding that when I'm documenting these things, I'm not just there just taking pictures. I'm also a protester. I don't like to call myself an activist because it's a really strong title and it's something you have to live up to. It has to be very selfless. So I just think of myself as a concerned citizen. And I just felt like when it comes to Baltimore and when it comes to the streets, I know them really, really well. And I felt as if no one can tell that story better than me. And I set out to tell that story. So when I'm documenting, I think the difference between me and a lot of other people's photographs is I'm in it. I'm not, just, shooting from the outside. I'm in it. It's times where I do put my camera down and I do chant. I do put my fist up. I do get engaged, even down to the point where if we are in, a riot situation or we are dealing with the National Guard, I'm not just taking photos. I'm making sure people are safe. I'm helping people. I'm there. I'm really on the front line. So I think that's the difference between my photographs and why they seem so, intimate is because I'm there because I truly believe in what would change and what it needs to be. I'm not just, I'm not just there to just capture these images. It's something that I believe in. It's something that I'm actually fighting for myself.
And your photos are in black and white, but the stories behind them aren't. Like this photo from 2015. Again, we'll move on to 2020, but I just wanted to set the stage and kind of refresh everyone's memory about these very iconic, striking images from that time.
Yeah, so I chose black and white. So I struggle with, with color. Like growing up, I would leave out the house thinking I have on all black and I will have on all navy blue, looking real crazy. Certain colors. My mother was like, what do you have on? So I would go to school thinking I'm real fly. And then like these colors don't mesh. And I'm like, oh, I thought I had on this color, but it's not. It's this color. So I struggle with colors. So I'm slightly, colorblind. So, but also just studying and looking at my photographers that came before me, Black photographers that inspired me. Gordon Parks when I found Gordon Parks' work, I told myself I wanted to be Gordon Parks. So I studied his work and I built my style of photography from his style. And I took his style and in turn made it my own. And I chose black and white because I just know for me and I know for a lot of other people, the way the human brain digests imagery or anything. And I think sometimes colors can be too distracting, but your mind has to process the colors. Oh, that's a nice shirt. This person has on this and that. So draining out that color allows a person, the point that I'm trying to relay is straight to the point, and you're going to feel the imagery. You're going to feel the emotion. You're going to bypass those extra thought processes that you have to go through when you're digesting the work. So that's why I drain all my images and I only shoot in black and white.
And the other thing is that, one of your striking images, too, from 2015 is burned in my mind, which is an image of a toddler with his hands up, don't shoot. And it just shatters me to think that at weeks from the womb, you're having, if you're Black in America, particularly if you're a young Black man, you've got to learn literally from birth, hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah, growing up in Baltimore, we are raised to avoid the police. So when I first got my first car, you see those movies and those TV shows when you turn 16, you get your first car. And it's like, oh, all the things you do, go out and drive. That wasn't the case for me. When I got my first car, I had to have the whole spill on how to avoid police. That was the biggest lesson that my mother taught me. If the police hop behind you, if you're not doing nothing wrong, you got to avoid them. So to survive in Baltimore, just to survive, not just as a Black man, but just being Black in general, you have to learn how to deal with the police at a very, very young age. So we have to teach our youth very young that, how to handle the police and your rights, the law, what you can and cannot do. So growing up for me in the city, I've been dealing with police all my life. I've been subjected to police brutality. I have been locked up wrongfully. I've had police officers put drugs on me, because they couldn't find anything and they were upset. My friend, Sean Gamble, was murdered by police officers because he got into an altercation with an off-duty police officer, and the off-duty police officer pulled his gun out, and on-duty police officers fired into a crowd, killing both of them. So it's you have to learn how to navigate that space because it's really tricky. But yes, very young, you have to know how to navigate yourself around police and that authority figure.
So then we go to 2020, and we see in Baltimore a really beautiful youth-led protest. You're there, and you say on Twitter, you're so proud to see your mentees now leading the charge. And education is already a huge part of your life's work. You give cameras to youth, you speak in schools. So can you talk about what that meant to you?
Yeah, for me growing up, I didn't know any artists. I think the closest photographer that I knew was probably growing up was my grandmother, because she brought a disposable camera to every cookout, documenting the family, just to capture those moments. So when I became an artist, I remember coming up and I didn't really know any artists. So I had to find out on my own all the things that I know that got me to that point. So, watching a lot of YouTube and a lot of things. And then finally, I started meeting other people that were into art, older guys that were tattoo artists that like to paint, and stuff like that. So I understand, and growing up, I always looked up to older people. I always had, in the hood, we call them big homies. So I understand the importance of having someone to look up to in the mentoring process. So I always thought, like, right after I got the cover of Time magazine, I thought, like, wow, if I was able to control the narrative from Baltimore, I didn't have a crazy social media following like I do now. I had just had 10,000 followers that I got from giving out free prints and writing my name on walls and on, all types of stuff. And I thought, if I'm on the ground and I'm able to be from Baltimore, shoot all this stuff, land on the cover of Time magazine, and shoot for ABC, Huffington Post, CNN, and really control that narrative where people only would come to me and they trusted me. They knew coming to me, it will be, you will get the real, what's really going on. I only could wonder, and I'm looking at the youth that's on the front lines. Mind you, we were getting tear gas, pepper spray, clashing with police officers. We were really on the ground, but you got kids that are 13 in high school and middle school on the front lines. And I only can imagine if I'm just one person, I'm one camera, but what if I taught other kids what I know? How more powerful would that be? And even looking at this image right here that you pulled up, like we're down by the jail, but that's my friend in jail. If you look through the process of those images, not just this one, I'm dapping up my friend who I started when I became an artist. We both started doing art together. He made t-shirts. I chose photography. He's in jail right now. And as I'm protesting, I gave him a 5 through the bars. And he's out on the courtyard, so I only, and that's the reality, and the things that we go through. But I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just one Devin Allen. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of Devin Allen. So right after the Time cover, got the Time cover in May. By June, I started a GoFundMe, and I was raising money to start teaching and mentoring. And now it's 2020. I've given out, I'm beyond 500 cameras. I kind of lost count, but I've given out so many cameras. And now you're looking at 2020, I'm back on the front lines. I'm getting DMs from teachers, and I'm seeing kids that I mentor or I taught at their school also documenting also. And that's important, because the youth have their own voice, and I'm able to help them. Hey, you have a voice. Maybe photography can help you, get that to the world, help you digest the world and regurgitate it through the art form. So now just to know that kids are now on the front lines, kids that I have talked to, worked with, are now with me on the front lines. I think that's where, my work is most important, what means the most to me. All the accolades are fine, but just knowing that when I talk to these kids and they know my story and I mentor them or I talk to them in schools, they understand what I'm saying, and then they also understand, when it's time to, when the world is calling, you serve that purpose. And it's an amazing feeling. It feels really good knowing that my kids are out here with me now, documenting.
Not to mention, our protest in Baltimore made national news because not only was it youth-led, but it was peaceful. It was largely peaceful. So do you want to talk about, what made the difference? Why in Baltimore in particular, it was peaceful?
Yeah, definitely. I think, with the unrest happening in so many places, it's all over from Philadelphia to New York to LA, and everywhere else in between. I think because when we went through our unrest and we went through our riots and our uprising, we were alone. In Baltimore, we always had a bad rap, because of the violence. Everyone knows us for the riots. So we already had a bad rap where people, when people put that scope, that lens, we had that national platform, and the people saw what they were doing, they expected it, and they was like, oh, they're thugs, they're this, they're that, but, we went through that process together as a city. Now, when you look at 2020, now it's civil unrest everywhere, it's chaos everywhere. And the reason why I think Baltimore has been, Baltimore, we are a very small city and we are very close-knit. When you're from here, you know when a person is from Baltimore. And when you hurt one of us, our own, it's going to manifest differently. Also, a lot of us, the people that lead the protests and the different activist groups and everything else, have matured so much over the past 5 years. We don't need to go back down that road because we already did it. Where the other cities are just experiencing it for the first time. We've been there, we've done that kind of thing. And now we understand what it takes to get to the table, what it is to, fight legislation and pass these laws, what it means, the power behind a vote, how to organize. We've learned so many different tactics and we have basically grown and matured. I think that's why we have been peaceful. Now, I will say it is people coming from other cities because they expect us to basically, react a certain type of way. They expect it. So you have people coming from DC, PG County. I've seen people as far as Fayetteville on the ground. I've heard people upset saying that Baltimore, I thought they was tough. They not tough. I'm never coming back to the city. Because they expect that. People will come in here, they want to, cause harm. When I youth, and that's what people forget, the beautiful thing about it, when the uprising happened, the youth led that. When we got national attention for being peaceful, the youth led that. So, and that's a beautiful thing. So now you look at it where now I'm back on the ground. I was in the uprising. You got Stokey, who ran for mayor, who's a really close friend of mine, back on the ground. You have well-seasoned people that were there 5 years ago that have evolved and grown, are very respected, looked at highly in the community. So now when things do get upsetting or you do feel something bubbling, we can stop that. So this Tuesday, we had people in different groups that are not from Baltimore wanting to burn stuff down, wanting to do those things. But people like myself, Aaron Maben, Stokey, and so many other people on the ground, even down to you had Brandon Scott and the brothers from 300 Men. We were out at that night talking people down. I know it's a video going viral of me of cussing this guy out, but you have these groups that go to the cities and like to act out. And we're not here for that. We've been there. We're here to show solidarity with our brothers and sisters across the country right now. We've been there. So I just think the maturity, we have matured, the majority of us have matured, and, we have different tactics to going about these things. And the work, when you riot and you in the looting, it's a part of the process. I know people don't like it. They look at it as not moving things forward, but it does move things forward. it's growing pains. It's a part of the process. So once that what gets you to the table, that's what gets your voice heard, you know. And once the smoke clears and the riots are over, the looting is over, the protesting is over, that's when the real work really begins.
One thing, thank you, Devin. One thing that I'm also noticing 2020 compared to 2015, the media have been gravitating as we kind of expect. You know, in 2015, we saw that CVS burning over and over again on Penn and North. And then as soon as the police precinct in Minneapolis was burned, we saw that image sort of ad nauseum. But I'm also seeing images of peaceful protest, of the helicopter that's flying over 83 in Baltimore and just showing hundreds of youth marching peacefully. So do you think media coverage has changed in 2020? Do you think we've learned something from 2015?
No, I just think that media, I think that's Trump doing. From Trump bashing media so much, they want to be on our side now. You know, I really don't know. I am surprised that they're showing everything. You know, if you look at what happened in 2015 with us, once again, we were alone. It wasn't a nationwide thing. It just was in Baltimore. So when media was here, when CNN came here, they came here for only that reason. Now when it's happening worldwide, I think media was waiting for Baltimore to how's Baltimore going to react. And how we reacted was just mind-blowing to a lot of people that we were peaceful, you know, because when you think about the uprising, which was 90% peaceful, they zoomed in on that 10% and blew it out of the water to make it seem like the whole city was on fire. Mm. But I just think now that because the whole country is activating, you can't really lie. And there's so many people on the ground now, you can't deny it. So you have to cover everything. You know, Baltimore being a small city, we was fighting a monster. Media is a beast, a dangerous beast that, you know, that done right, it can be very helpful, but it can also be detrimental also.
And your images focus more on individuals and the peaceful protesters, and is that intentional?
No, it's not intentional. I document everything. And I tell people all the time, one thing I want people to understand, like, this is my city. I'm not just going out looking for a shot. Yes, I am a photographer. I love getting good images, but I'm also a protester. I'm also a person that advocates for my community. So I'm not just looking around for shots. I'm in it, you know, but I'm also here to tell the truth. So, you know, I know I was getting people were kind of upset about this fist image of the police officer kneeling and putting the fist up. I'm not going to put my camera down and not capture it. It really happened. He kneeled, he put his fist up. I have to capture it. If a person, you know, even when it comes to protesters rioting, I have to capture it. You know, but when it comes to that, I make work that I just make work just based off the truth. And then also I'm mindful that my peers are activists. So when I am on the ground, I'm respectful because I don't want anyone to go to jail behind my work because they are my peers and we all believe in the same thing. So when I'm shooting, I'm capturing everything, but I'm also being mindful and respectful of my peers. And I just want to tell the truth, you know, and that's what I have to do. If I come out and build my own narrative, that's not fair to the rest of the world or fair to the people that's fighting for something. You know, when I go into these situations and to things that even though I believe in it, I know I'm fighting police brutality, but I still have to tell the truth. Even when it's like, I don't want to, I have to. I have to put my own personal ego to the side.
And, you know, to what extent, I mean, everything in 2020 just seems amplified. The number of police that are attacking peaceful protesters and journalists on live TV. I mean, is that your sense? And is it, you know, you mentioned the political climate is very different than 2015. 2015, it was the Obama administration. And also to what extent is COVID-19 a factor? Because insofar that it disproportionately affects African Americans in terms of contagion and mortality, it's another form of oppression. So, you know, to what extent do all of those elements contribute to this amplification? And do you think there's an amplification?
It's Trump. That's the only thing. That's it's one Trump. That's all you gotta say to answer all of that. It's Trump. You know, it's Donald Trump. That's the difference between 2015 and 2020. It's Donald Trump. You know, even when you're looking at COVID or the response to COVID, you know, and how they handle it in places like Baltimore City and all these everything, how resources are moved and everything else. You know, the thing is with Trump, you know, like you have blatant things going on now where things is like right in your face, you know, and you know, it's to the point where when you think about nationally, I know a lot of people are like, well, we lost, you know, so many people to police brutality this year, you know, but also you got to think about in 2015, we lost, you know, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland. We lost like four Black women before Sandra Bland even came on, happened. And we also lost Tamir Rice all back to back, you know. So it was a lot in 2015. It just that now it's beyond, it always has been blatant. But I just think now with this Trump administration, it's just so disrespectful and on a whole nother level. And I think people are just beyond tired, and it's certain things are happening in certain cities that you think it wouldn't happen, but now it's happening. People thought police brutality was just, you know, it happened in Black ghettos and stuff like that. That's not, now we're saying that's not the case, it's all over the country, you know, and it's something that I think is resonating with everybody. And I think also the fact that you look at COVID-19, the fact that police officers are not social distancing and it's still, you know, hurting people post-COVID. And then also COVID has brought, also COVID isn't a disease that it highly affects Black people because of the fact that it shows, you know, the way society is set up for Black people when it comes to healthcare and a lot of, you know, poor places. So now it's like with COVID, I feel like COVID also brought a lot of us together because it affects all of us. You know, now people are starting to see, oh, it's the rich versus the poor. You know, and some people are putting, you know, their color, their isms to the side, you know, and stuff like that. You know, it's a really tricky thing, but the answer to that question is Donald Trump. It's just that the Trump administration, period. Why everything is happening and why things are unfolding differently than 5 years ago.
And well, I have some more questions for you, but we have quite a bit of audience questions as well. So I'll just hold off. I mean, I guess, you know, do you, one of the questions is, you know, how do you want to talk a bit about how you chose your, yeah, sorry, my coworkers are also texting questions as well. So you do have a really beautiful collaboration with other leading lights in the city who stand for social justice, racial equality, D. Watkins and Conwani Fidel. So
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about how the three of you all and others, because I believe that's a Chris Wilson painting behind you.
Yep, Chris Wilson.
So I'm going to add in Chris Wilson in there, and other and your peers. You know, how do you all work together and collaborate to further the cause?
Yeah, collaboration is very, very important, and what I see a lot of times going on in the activist community or in the art world, you know, I want people to understand is like anything that you do is important and vital. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, I don't have a voice, I can't do this, I don't have a platform, or my skills can't help this. When I tell you everything is vital, everything is important. And I always, when I tell people that, I try to describe like the army. When you think about when United States go to war, think about how many departments of the, you know, of our military that it is. You have people that drive, you know, you have people that's on the front line, you have people that are, you have Navy SEALs, you have the Air Force, you got IT, you got people that drive the drones, you have people that just drop off, materials. So the thing is with collaborating with my peers is very important to me because they have a set of skills that I don't have. And when we collaborate, we get our point across stronger. So this beast, racism, police brutality, everything, a lot of us people have the same moral compass with, I try to use them and leverage them to use my platform to make a bigger impact. So for when I do things. So the things that we create, so working with D. Watkins is an amazing writer. I'm not an amazing writer, so if I can sit with him, collaborate with him, we work as a team. His words is my photography. The punch is harder. The point gets across stronger. Also, working with Chris Wilson, he will paint over top my photographs where it will reach a different demographic. So collaboration with my peers is about making a bigger splash than just a drop of water, because I'm a small piece into a bigger puzzle that's trying to just play our parts and making change into the world. So, for anybody that's on this Zoom call, I encourage you, whatever skill that you have, it is, even if it's like small things you think like cooking, I just cook, I can't really make any change. Cook, you can go cook for protesters or something. I know how to beatbox. Well, go to the corner and beatbox and find someone who rap over your beatbox and then rap about social justice. Like it's this beast that we are fighting. It takes everybody. So I'm really big on finding people that believe in the same things that I do and want to see things change like I do. And I try to use my platform to elevate them and vice versa.
And, I don't want to, we are talking about, forming the future. And one giant question on my mind is police reform even possible? Keeping in mind that the police were formed in the United States to enforce the Fugitive Slave Act.
Yep. It got to be dismantled. It's just that simple.
So when we talk about reform, I mean, the founding of police in the United States was not for the public good.
No, it's like if you burn your rotisserie chicken, you can't cook it again. You can't make it better. It's burnt. You just got to throw it away and make something else to eat. So that's police reform. You got to dismantle the system. Start from scratch. That's what you got to do. I know a lot of people like to use the word reform or fix the problem. No, you got to gut it and then bring something brand new in if we want to see anything better for us.
And here's just a handful of the children that you have taught photography to so that they can tell their own stories.
Our kids, they're my babies, they're my kids.
They're very cute kids.
Yes, I love these kids. Like some of my kids, like the two kids, they in high school now, like in the 12th grade, and they're taller than me now. Like I still talk to these kids. They DM me, and it's just coming from West Baltimore. I had an amazing mom. My mom went to Poly. She was a straight A student. And she went to Towson. And then she graduated. She transferred herself without her mother knowing and went to Foster Park, graduated early, and then worked in forensics for the FBI in D.C. And then she had me. I'm lucky enough to have a mother a strong Black woman that put her life on pause to make sure that she raised me right, And growing up for me, my peers did not have that. A lot of my friends, I didn't understand. My friends, their mother, one of my friends, both his parents died from HIV. They were heroin addicts. One of my friends, he stayed with me on Christmas and Thanksgiving. His mother just would drop him off. I never really understood, but his mother was a drug addict. He didn't want to be home, and that's people's reality. So once I felt like I had some power, a lot of my kids go through those similar situations, and I just want to be that vacation for them. When my kids are around me, I want to be that vacation where they can get away, where they can talk to me, they can you know, feel love. They can feel, you know, I want to make them feel like they can touch the sky, you know, because I've been there, you know, some of those dark places. So, you know, it's beyond just the photography. It's about just activating that creative spirit in them and make them feel, you know, powerful, as if they can change the world themselves. That's all I want to do.
And speaking of changing the world, we just had an election. So what's in store for Baltimore?
Who won? I don't know who won. Who won? Sheila Dixon?
Sheila Dixon for mayor is leading, though results are not completely yet in. Joan Pratt, Bill Henry is leading for comptroller, and Nick Mosby for city council president.
Okay. Cool. As long as we gotta get Jack Young out of there though, because he ain't been on the ground. I haven't seen him on the ground and no protests or anything. One thing I can say about Sheila though, Sheila really, back in the day, you can see Sheila outside. You know, despite what she did, that's one thing I can say. Sheila was outside. You can see Sheila on Emerson Avenue. She really lived in the city, you know. So I hope she learned from her mistakes and she would do a good job. I was a big fan of Stokey. He's not known big in the political space, but it's what Stokey stood for. Stokey knew he had the streets, and he didn't run to win. Stokey ran to inspire the youth to want to vote, to feel like their vote mattered. Seeing a guy that was in the streets, did time in jail, come home, protest, become an activist, help silence the stop the uprising and the riots in Baltimore, play a pivotal person in the city, and then run for mayor. He might not have won, but he inspired these kids that never voted before in their life to just pick up a ballot, and I respect that. Brandon Scott got respect for him. I remember him in the uprising march, and I saw him down City Hall the other day, and even down to Sheila Dixon in 2015. I remember they did a women's march. We marched from Frederick Douglass down to Pennsylvania, from Frederick Douglass High School to the bottom of Pennsylvania Avenue. Sheila came, and I can respect it. I respect any mayor that's willing to not just sit behind a desk and pass things or whatever, but will come out with the community and get their hands dirty. I'm a hands-on person, and I can respect any person that visibly will put themselves publicly out and want to make some change. I hope she learned from her mistakes from the past, and she will, you know, make things better in the city. So I'm not going to count her out yet, you know, but we will see. And then, you know, we will see. You know.
Devin, thank you so much. You know, for doing what you do. I mean, the photography, the artistry, the teaching, the dedication to Baltimore. I was trying not to cry through this whole thing.
Don't cry.
The fact that from your photographs, it's so clear you love your neighborhood, you love Baltimore, and you love humanity. So with that, I'm going to open the floor to questions. You have been, I know the attendees have been typing in questions throughout, so we'll now get to some of those. So one of them is, Devin, is there something about your work that you want others to know that maybe is not so well known?
I'm trying to think. What do I want people to know that? Well, with the work, my work is spontaneous. I know a lot of people are like, my work is spontaneous. That's only people to know. So when I am making my work, I don't think too much. Like when I released my book, A Beautiful Ghetto, I'm a person, I'm a very spiritual person. So like when I'm making work, I just go off a raw emotion. So like with A Beautiful Ghetto, when I did the uprising and I documented my city, I didn't plan to make a book. It was all by chance. So I want people to know that when I'm making this work, and some people might look like, oh, he's doing this and doing that, it's all spontaneous. I don't try to overthink things. I just go with my gut, and I just go make the art that I feel like people will feel. Also that all my work, if people see it, they be like, everybody, you need to title this work. All your work is untitled, you need to title this. I make work to create emotion, not for names. So a lot of times I just want people to feel. So yeah, that's probably one thing a lot of people don't know. My work is spontaneous. I don't think too much behind it. And then eventually something comes from it. And then I put it together and then it turns out really well.
And we've gotten several questions about your book, A Beautiful Ghetto.
Oh yeah.
So do you want to talk about that? And
the French edition.
I swear we did not plan that.
No, it's actually sitting on my table.
But people would love to hear your process for choosing the images within the book.
Yeah. This is my baby right here. I'm super excited. The French edition came out last year. I don't know anything about French. I've never even been to France, but I have a big French fan base. But making this book, it was really crazy because one thing I'm going to say is my success comes from my community and people that believe in me. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the people that actually believed in my cause, what I believed in. And this book came about because being a kid from West Baltimore, I will never forget Reginald F. Lewis Museum, and this scholar named Mitch Dunier was looking for me. And I'm like, what are you looking for me for? And he was a professor at Princeton. And I'm like, why is a professor from Princeton looking for little old me? And him and some scholars from Princeton came to Baltimore. And they came to see my very first show, Awakenings in a New Light at Reginald F. Lewis Museum in 2015. And it's me, my mom, and my uncle, and they wanted to pick my brain. I'm like, it's not a lot of stuff in this brain, so I don't know how long, you ain't gonna be picking very long. And we hung out, they said, I want to go get a Baltimore crab cake. And I'm like, well, let's walk to Moe's. You know, I'm like, that's where all my favorite drug dealers and all my popular people go. So we went to Moe's, I got them a Cajun hookup, some crab cakes, and we were talking, and they asked me, how could I describe Baltimore? And I said, you know, I hated the city because of the trauma that it gave me, you know, like losing so many friends to gun violence. I've been shot at. I've seen people take their last breath. You know, I've seen people's heads get blown off. And I hated the city, and I always worked my goal was always to get away. But then I fell in love with it through photography once I began that. And I said, through photography, I fell in love with it, and I was like, it's beautiful. You know, it's an intimate, very close patch, and a lot of people don't see those intimate moments. And I was like, it's beautiful, but it's the hood. You know, like it's ghetto. And he was like, what did you just say? I was like, it's the ghetto. He's like, no, say it all at once. I was like, it's beautiful, but it's ghetto. He was like, take the butt out. And I was like, it's a beautiful ghetto. And he was just like, you need to do a show. So they hooked me up with an organization in Philadelphia called SLAW. And I did a show in Philadelphia called A Beautiful Ghetto. And the idea of the show was like, I wanted to show people those intimate moments in Baltimore, but then also show you why that rage was so pure, why we ride it. Because people don't understand the frustration and the anger that we have growing up and what we go through every single day. So like the front of the room was beautiful pictures of people eating crabs on the stoop, dirt bikes through the city, cookouts, block parties, kids dancing in the street, people looking out their window, just little things that scream Baltimore. And I played Nina Simone, Gil Scott-Heron, Sam Cooke, James Brown, all Black, music that screams, rebellion. And then when you went into the second room, I did this 8-foot collage of wheat pigs and from images from the uprising. So you saw chaotic pictures, community pictures, all these different pictures. And then I took portraits of every activist or person that I met at that time going through the process. And then in the back, I put the video of Freddie Gray, and I ran on a loop. So when you walk to the second room, you can hear Freddie Gray screaming. And then I did panel discussions on these things. I had J.C. Folk do a performance art piece where we showed what a stop and frisk looks like, and we had people running out and crying. And I was just like, wow, this is beautiful. And Kianga Hameta from Princeton came and hosted the first talk, did a Q&A with me. And she said, this show was powerful. You need to do a book. And I was like, I don't know anything about a book. And she was like, well, just call my publisher. This publisher is amazing. They do Angela Davis. They just did a book with Bootsy Riley. And I'm like, why would they want to do a book with me? And then I went to the Venice Biennale. I did a beautiful ghetto there in Italy.
Oh, what happened? Oh God, what happened? Shit.
Oh,
Why do you mute it?
Devin, your sound is off. There you go. There you go.
Because somebody must have muted me because I didn't touch anything. Y'all saw my hands was right here. I didn't mute. I just said a lot, and I'm not going to repeat myself. But long story short, I don't know what I missed or how I ended up muted. But the most important thing about my book, I didn't want to create a book that was too expensive. I remember going to Barnes and Nobles and looking through photography books that were $50 and $60. I wanted to make a book that was hardback, solid, a really good book, but also was affordable for my community and people that I wanted to see it. I didn't want to create a book that my community cannot afford. So I needed to make a book that was hardback, but also under $20 or just at that point. And I put this book together. I went through all my images. It was literally like 500 photos. I actually took like around 5,000 photos that year in 2015, leading up to 2016. And I went through all the images, and I worked with, I reached out to Aaron Brown from the Smithsonian, who's like a mentor to me also. And he went through my book and ripped it apart, like so bad. I'll never forget, I was sitting in City Cafe and I wanted to cry. And we were fussing over what pictures we were going to keep in the book and are not. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care if he worked at the Smithsonian and he knows photography really well. I'm going to just put the pictures back anyway. But as I went through his comments, he came with all these sticky notes on pictures to get rid of. And I went through the book and I started to understand. And then I reached out to D. Watkins, Westmore, reached back out to Kianga Hameta because she's the one that got me my book deal. And then and my mom went to school for journalism, and she always wanted to. She's an amazing writer. Always wanted to write a book. So then I reached out to my mom and I told her write for my book. So and then we put it together. And I reached out to my friend Tark, who went to Emerson High School, who was an amazing poet, to do the poetry. And my biggest thing is I wanted to use this book to educate people on Baltimore, but also bring people together and help people understand the community. This book, my publisher is Haymarket. Definitely in COVID, Haymarket is an amazing publisher. They advocate it's a socialism. They're real big into socialism and stuff like that. But they're really down for the cause. They gave me a book deal with, on a whim. They really supported me. They were okay with not making a lot of money off this book. The book ended up being nominated for NAACP Image Award. So I would say buy the book. You can buy the book from Red Emmers, Greedy Reads, local bookstores, Atomic Books, Ivy Bookstore. I love all of them. But really we would appreciate you if you would, in this COVID time, my publisher, they are real big on activism and they're not about the money. So you can go to Haymarket directly for them and actually buy the book also to support them, to keep them afloat, because the work that they do is very important. And I really appreciate them.
We're almost out of time, but we've gotten several questions, Devin, about how people can support your work. Are you accepting cameras at this time? What else can they do to help you fulfill your mission?
Right now with COVID, I can't really teach right now. I'm actually in the process of building my own fellowship along with Steph Curry and Under Armour. So in 2021, I will be launching my Black History Month. I will be launching my own clothing line with shoes and clothes in collaboration with Under Armour and Steph Curry, and the proceeds will go back to the community. And I'm building a fellowship where kids will get stipends for studying underneath me. They get to shoot Under Armour projects and work with me, and they would get paid to study with me. So right now, I don't really need cameras because I can't really teach how I really want to. My biggest thing right now, if you really want to support me, get out here and advocate. If you're white, be a good ally and get out here and get behind us, help us, support us, come together as a community. every little thing matters. It's not so much if you really want to help. It's not about me. It's about the community. So I just need everybody to hold your peers accountable, because that's something that's very, very vital. A lot of people, we don't want to tell our friends how shitty they are, or don't tell them like, hey, you might be racist, or hold your friends. If you're white or you have any POC and you're not, hold your friends accountable. Stand with us, fight with us. This is a war, and if anybody don't think this is a war on poor people, on Black people, on the LGBT community, a trans person just was killed. This is a war on just people in general, and we're fighting a beast right now. So everyone, this is a hands-on thing. So I need everybody with it. It don't matter if it's the little things. Do your part, play your part. Small. I don't care if it's just saying good morning to a person. That's powerful. You don't know what a person is going through every single day, and you just, hey, how you doing? Are you having a good day? Having a small conversation, that can change a person's trajectory for the rest of that day. So I need everybody to just look inside your heart and lead with love, because we need more of that. I just need everybody to do their little part. This is going to take all of us to beat Donald Trump and all the other crap that's going on in this world. We have to stick together and take care of one another. I'm a person that, I was social distancing really hard. I was staying with my mom, and I was doing everything that I was told. But I had to put my health on the line, because I know I need to be on those front lines. But at the same time, I need everybody to also, if you feel sick, self-quarantine. If you need to do what you got to do so we can get out of this COVID stuff. I know there's so much going on. It's hard to forget. I lost a friend to COVID. I've known people that had COVID. This is a serious thing, so I need everybody to take it seriously. It's not a game. Wear those masks, and we need to come together as a community. So if you want to help me, just be a good person, play your part, and support, what's going on in this world. Vote. Vote. Everybody vote. Hold the people that you vote for accountable. And let's just be good, upstanding citizens. That's all I'm trying to say.
That was a perfect, amazing note to end on. So Devin, is it okay for people to reach out to you through Instagram if they want to purchase your work, learn more, buy your book, find out other places to buy your book? Is that all right to direct them to your Instagram?
I would go to Twitter. My Instagram is crazy right now. It's crazy right now. Like, I have so many, someone attempted to try, my Instagram, someone is hacking Black photographers right now. So, please, if you have Black photographers that you like and you like their work, we're trying to control this narrative of what's going on, but they're hacking a lot of our mentions where people will go to my page and they will send it to a Donald Trump supporter or one of these crazy pages. So, constantly repost, these artists that's on the front lines. Hit me up on Twitter. I try to talk to everyone. Right now, I do sell prints, but I'm too busy because I'm on the ground and I'm trying to play my part, so I don't have time to get to every email. But I do sell prints. So as I get through these emails, once I have time, I will move forward them. The work. The book, once again, support our local bookstore. So if you are in Baltimore, support our local bookstores. If you're not in Baltimore, don't go to Amazon, go straight to Haymarket and support them. Hit me up on Twitter. That's the easiest way. Don't DM me. I have too many DMs, and when I get too many DMs, I have an anxiety attack. If I get too many emails, I get scared to answer them because I don't like to reply late, and then I have anxiety and I won't open my laptop. So just tweet me directly. I love you. Thank you, everyone, for my support. I'm here because of the strength of my community, and I'm just an advocate. I am nothing but a vessel for everyone, and I'm just doing what I can do to make this social change.
Thank you. Thank you sincerely. And I know I speak for everyone gathered here today. Your time is precious, as is everyone who showed up. You showed up! So, and people have been typing, Gordon Parks would be proud. I'm sure your mom is proud. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.